I still remember the smell of dust and barbecue smoke in the air the first time I met him. That weekend in Austin, Texas SSW felt like a dream. My friend dragged me out for a girls' trip and I wasn't in the mood. But then there he was, Jason, standing by a taco truck in a faded band tee, talking about Radiohead like it was religion. We clicked instantly. It wasn't love at first sight, I didn't believe in that crap, but it was something. His friends and mine ended up merging like a little tribe. For 4 days straight, we hit every show, every pop-up, laughed over overpriced drinks and spilled secrets on midnight sidewalks. It was weird how natural it felt. By day 5, when he asked if we could stick together till the end of the week, I didn't hesitate. So yeah, that was a year and a half ago. Fast forward to now, I'm 29, a back-end engineer who used to believe in logic over love until he completely short-circuited me. Jason, 32 tech startup co-founder, full of ideas and late-night texts, and that stupid smirk that made me forget my rules. We started dating right after the festival. Real dates, 2 not just hookups or ghosting games. He called when he said he would. He showed up. He remembered that I hated cilantro and always put the hot sauce on the side. He made me believe this was something rare. And maybe it was for me. We moved in together after 11 months. It felt fast. I won't lie. I remember lying in bed staring at the ceiling that first night in our apartment, thinking, is this crazy? But then he reached over, touched my hand, and mumbled, we're going to build something amazing. I believed him. I really believed him. His co-founder was his best friend. Will's girlfriend, Melissa, was this soft-spoken artsy type who had this indie bookshop look. I liked her at first. She was quiet, but so was I. And I thought maybe we'd click. We didn't really. She seemed distant, but I chalked it up to introversion. Looking back now, red flag. 6 months ago, Jason proposed. It wasn't some big dramatic thing. We were at home, in sweatpants, watching some dumb Netflix docuseries. He looked over at me mid-episode, paused the TV, and said, you know I'm not going anywhere, right? Let's just do this. Let's get married. I laughed, then I cried, then I said yes. We told Will and Melissa first. Will hugged us like we just cured cancer. Melissa said congratulations, but her eyes didn't match her mouth. Something felt off. Like I had walked into a room and missed the punchline of a private joke. Still, I pushed that feeling aside because guess what, I was happy. I had a fiancé who adored me, an apartment that felt like home, and a wedding to plan. Life was good until it wasn't. 3 months ago, things started getting weird. We weren't seeing Will and Melissa as much. Jason said they were going through stuff. Relationship issues, he mumbled while staring at his laptop, pretending to work. I asked if he was okay. He said he was. I believed him again. My mistake. He got quiet. Didn't want to talk about the wedding much. Said he was stressed. Said he had a lot going on at the startup. I nodded. I knew that world. Tech is ruthless, and burnouts are real. I gave him space. Figured he'd come around. What I didn't know was that space meant he was using my silence to sneak around behind my back. This morning, our *****ing wedding day, I woke up alone. I was in the bridal suite, hair half curled, dress zipped halfway, surrounded by half-eaten croissants and my stressed-out maid of honor, waiting for a text. Nothing. I texted Jason, can't wait to see you soon. No reply. I waited and I called, phone off. Still, I didn't panic. Not at first. Maybe he turned it off for the ceremony. Maybe he was just overwhelmed. Maybe. Then someone knocked on the door. It was Will, alone. He looked like he hadn't slept. His face was pale, jaw clenched, and for a second, I thought someone had died. Maybe someone had... He handed me an envelope. No words, just a fucking envelope. Inside. A letter. From Jason. He wrote that he was sorry, that he couldn't marry me, that he'd been in love with Melissa for months, that she finally admitted she felt the same, that they ran off together this morning, not just left me, not just ditched the wedding, ran away. Together. And the worst part, the end of the letter, he wrote, I shit you not. You and Will are both amazing people. I think you'd be perfect for each other. Maybe this isn't the end, it's a new beginning. What the actual F asterisk asterisk asterisk? I looked up. Will was sitting there, his hands shaking, tears in his eyes. We read that letter together, like the punchline to some dark, twisted rom-com written by a sociopath. I didn't cry right away. I just sat there, staring at that goddamn letter like it was a joke. I reread the last part a few times because my brain refused to accept what my eyes were showing me. You and Will are both amazing people. I think you'd be perfect for each other. Excuse me, like this man really decided to be a matchmaker while nuking 2 relationships and running off into the sunset with his best friend's girlfriend. Was I supposed to feel grateful like, wow? Thanks for the thoughtful pairing suggestion after vaporizing my wedding day. Will was next to me, frozen, holding his head in his hands. I remember the sound of his breath shaky, unsteady, almost childlike. That image is still stuck in my head, the 2 of us in that hotel suite. Me in half a wedding dress. Him in a wrinkled suit. Both of us dumped and humiliated. I stood up. I don't remember walking out of that room. I think someone tried to stop me, my maid of honor maybe, but I didn't care. I walked straight past the decorations, the flower arrangements, the catering staff, prepping for a party that wasn't happening anymore. My mom was outside the venue, fussing about something with the coordinator. She turned when she saw me. The look on her face told me she knew. He's not coming, I said flatly. She blinked. What? He ran off with Melissa. She didn't speak. No one did. It was like the whole parking lot dropped into a black hole of awkward silence. I didn't stay to explain. I went home. I changed out of that stupid dress and into sweatpants. And then I crawled into bed and disappeared. For 3 weeks, I ghosted the world. Didn't answer calls, ignored texts. My inbox was a war zone of awkward sympathy messages and refund policy emails. Every notification felt like a punch to the face. People say heartbreak feels like drowning, but no drowning is active. You fight, you panic. This was like being buried alive. Quiet, cold, helpless. My apartment still had his things. I couldn't even sit on the couch without smelling his damn cologne. I kept thinking about how we picked out those cushions together, how we used to eat cereal on the floor like broke college kids, how we argued over the right way to load a dishwasher. It was all tainted. I tried to work. I couldn't focus. Pushed off projects, missed meetings. I'd log in, stare at the code, and suddenly remember how he used to joke about writing love functions in Python. I wanted to scream. I wanted to scream until my throat bled. But I didn't. I just stayed quiet, drank cold coffee, slept weird hours, let the days blur together. Will texted me once during that time. Just a simple hope you're okay. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. I didn't reply. I didn't know how. He was the only one who understood. But he was also a breathing reminder of the betrayal. Weeks passed. And then, one evening, like a glitch in the simulation, I got home from work, and Will was sitting on my front porch. I froze. He stood up when he saw me, awkward and unsure, holding a takeout bag like a peace offering. Didn't mean to ambush you, he said. Just, I got tired of being sad alone. I don't know why, but I nodded, let him in. We didn't talk about them, not that night. We ate pad thai and played some dumb board game I found under the couch. It was weirdly peaceful. He didn't ask me to open up. He just stayed, and for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel like I was floating in space alone. That dinner turned into a ritual. Every Friday, we'd meet, just the 2 of us. At first, it was all surface-level TV, food, sarcastic commentary, but slowly, little things slipped out. He told me Melissa had been pulling away for months, that she'd stop coming home some nights and say she was crashing at her sister's, that Jason kept defending her, saying she was just under pressure. I told him about the strange distance between me and Jason near the end, How Jason used to say he loved how chill I was. How I gave him space, but maybe I was just being easy to deceive. We bonded in the strangest way. Two ex-fiancés trying to rebuild themselves with takeout and silence. And somewhere in the middle of that mess, we started healing each other. 6 months after the wedding, Will asked me out. Like, actually asked. I blinked at him across the table. We were splitting dessert chocolate cake that neither of us really liked, and he just dropped it. I know it sounds insane. He said, "But I think I'm into you." My heart did something weird. It didn't hurt. It didn't panic. It just paused. "Are you sure you're not trauma bonding?" I asked. He laughed. "Probably, but I don't care." And I realized I liked him too. Had liked him for a while. But I'd been too scared to admit it. Scared people would judge. Scared it meant Jason and Melissa somehow won. Scared I was making the same mistake twice. But I wasn't. This was different. He knew me, really knew me. Not just the curated version of me, but the broken parts too. So I said yes. And things were good. Really, truly good. We took it slow. No labels for months. We didn't tell anyone right away. We just existed together. Until last week. Last week, I got a phone call from an unknown number. I don't usually answer those, but something in me said, pick up. And when I did, it was Jason. His voice hit me like a cold slap, like hearing a ghost talk. "Naomi," he said, like we hadn't just lost a year and a half to silence. I didn't say anything. "I miss you," he continued. "I made a mistake. I was confused. But she left. Melissa left. God, I just need to talk to you." I hung up. No words, no closure, no screaming, just click. He tried again. I blocked him. When I told Will, he sat quietly for a second, then pulled out his phone and blocked Jason too. "We don't owe him anything," he said, and he was right. Jason blew up everything, ran away like a coward, and thought he could slither back in once his fantasy crumbled. Screw that. He made his choices. Now he gets to live with them. I'm not saying everything's perfect now. Some days I still think about the wedding that never happened. The guests. The music. The freaking cake. But then I look at the life I've built since. A life without lies. Without gaslighting. Without cold silences and second-guessing everything. And I feel something I haven't felt in a long time. Peace. Not revenge, not gloating, just peace. And that, honestly, hits harder than any petty clapback ever could. It had been over 8 months since the wedding that never was, and I was finally starting to breathe again. I didn't cry over Jason anymore. I didn't flinch when I heard his name. I could even walk past the venue we were supposed to get married at without feeling like my chest was caving in. Life wasn't perfect, but it was stable. Steady. Will and I had been seeing each other for real now. Not secretly, not quietly, not half in, half scared. We were a couple. We told our friends, even told our families. And yeah, I braced myself for the comments. The judgment. I imagined someone pulling the whole "didn't you steal your ex's best friend" narrative. But guess what nobody did? Because people knew what the hell happened. They saw the mess Jason and Melissa left behind. Most of our mutuals had already cut them off anyway. Apparently, their little romantic escape didn't last. Big shocker, right? According to a friend of a friend, Melissa ghosted Jason just a few months after running away with him. I wasn't even surprised. I mean, if your relationship starts with cheating and betrayal, what foundation do you really have? It was poetic, honestly. They left us in shambles, thinking they'd found some fairy tale. Instead, they crash-landed face first into reality. I didn't smile about it. Okay, maybe I smirked. Once, quietly, at home, while doing dishes. Whatever. The real kicker came when Jason showed up. No, seriously, I was home on a random Thursday evening, trying to decide between reheating leftovers or ordering sushi, when there was a knock at the door. I opened it, and there he was, Jason, in the flesh. Looking awful. Not dramatic awful. Just normal guy who's trying to look casual but clearly hasn't slept in a week awful. His hair was longer, he had a slight beard, he was wearing that same stupid hoodie he always wore when he was hungover. For a split second, I froze, like my brain hadn't caught up to my eyes. Then I said, flatly, "Why are you here?" He tried to smile. "Can we talk?" "No." Right then, Will came around the corner. He'd been in the kitchen, probably grabbing water. When he saw Jason, his whole face hardened. Jason looked between us. That's when it hit him. "Oh," he muttered, like a toddler connecting shapes. "You two." "No shit." I didn't respond. Neither did Will. Jason took a shaky breath. I didn't come here to fight. I wanted to explain or apologize. I don't know. I crossed my arms. Too late. He glanced down, then back up. She left me. There it was, the pathetic, quiet little reveal. Like we didn't already know. Like that was supposed to mean something to me now. She said it wasn't what she expected, that I wasn't who she thought I was. He added, "Can you believe that?" Actually, yeah. Totally believable. He kept talking, nervously pacing. "I kept thinking about you, about what we had. I messed up. Naomi, I know that. I didn't think God. I thought I was following my heart or whatever. But it was stupid. I hurt you. I hurt Will. I know that. But maybe we could, I don't know, talk, try to fix something." Fix what? Exactly the broken trust, the ghosting. The fact that he played both of us like we were disposable. Will stepped forward then, calm but firm. "You don't get to come back now and ask for closure. You chose this." Jason looked at him like he'd been slapped. Then, like the absolute child he is, he snapped. "Wow, so you really went for it? Huh, you didn't waste any time." "Excuse me, you think I planned this?" I said. "You think I was sitting around like, gee, now that I've been humiliated on my wedding day, let me go seduce his best friend as revenge. Are you serious right now?" Jason opened his mouth, but I cut him off. "You left. You ran off. You didn't have the balls to even face me. You wrote a letter like a F asterisk 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 in middle school breakup and bounced. Don't you dare come here now and pretend you're the victim." He didn't answer. He stood there for a moment, staring at the floor, then looked back up with watery eyes. I just didn't want to lose everything. "You already did," I said, and I meant it. Will reached over and put a hand on my back, gentle, grounding. Jason stood in silence for another beat before muttering, "Okay," and then he turned and walked away. I closed the door without saying another word. I thought that would be it. But of course, Jason couldn't go quietly. 2 days later, he posted some half-assed reflection thread on Twitter about self-discovery, mistakes, and what it means to truly understand love. He didn't name names, but it was so obviously about us, about me and Will, the internet, being the internet. Put the pieces together. People started commenting. Someone quote tweeted it with, "Bro ghosted his fiancé on their wedding day and wants sympathy." One reply said, "Imagine cheating and failing at it. Couldn't be me." I didn't say anything publicly. I didn't need to. Sometimes karma just does the job for you. A week later, I got a package at work. No return address. Inside, a box of wedding decorations. The table cards I had designed myself. A copy of the canceled guest list. A tiny, unopened box that had the words "Bride's Emergency Kit" printed on it. There was a note, folded once, plain white paper. It just said, "I thought you might still want these. I'm sorry, for real this time." I stared at that note for a long, long time. Then I tore it up and threw the whole box in the trash. Look, I'm not bitter, not anymore. I'm just done. Done holding space for people who didn't hold space for me. Done trying to find the good in someone who stomped on my heart and handed it back in a manila envelope. These days, I wake up next to someone who shows up. Will brings me coffee before meetings. He listens when I vent about Jira tickets. He lets me cry on random Thursdays when wedding-themed ads pop up on my feed. He doesn't try to fix me. He just stays. And that means everything. People always say healing isn't linear. I used to roll my eyes at that. But now I get it. Some days I feel strong as hell. Other days, I get triggered by the stupidest stuff, like a song we used to dance to, or a photo from SSSW popping up in my memories. But I don't drown in those moments anymore. I don't let them define me. I've rebuilt. I've rewritten the narrative. And best of all, I did it without needing anyone's permission. The other night, Will and I were walking home from dinner, hand in hand, when he looked over and said, "You know what's funny?" What? Jason was right about one thing. I raised an eyebrow. Do I want to know? He said we'd make a great couple. We both burst out laughing, and honestly, he wasn't wrong. He just had no idea how right he was. Until it was too damn late. 3 months after Jason showed up, I got another message. This time it was from Melissa. Yeah, Melissa. It was on Instagram of all places, because of course the woman who ghosted me in real life would think DMing me from a private account with a fake profile pic was the move. It was one of those vague, lowercase messages. Hey, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I never meant for things to go down like that. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. I read it 3 times, laughed, then screenshot it and sent it to Will with the caption, LMAO. She thinks this is her redemption arc. He replied with a single emoji. That was it. I didn't respond to her. I didn't even block her. Let her sit there and watch my stories. Let her see my life move forward without her drama. Let her watch me be happy. Honestly, I think Melissa reaching out was her way of testing the waters, trying to figure out if I hated her less now that Jason had clearly flamed out. But I wasn't playing that game. I wasn't interested in closure that came months too late and soaked in convenience. Besides, I had other things to focus on, like my job. Like Will, like me. I'd started going to therapy. Finally, I should have done it sooner. But I was scared of what would come out, scared I'd have to admit how deep the betrayal really cut. But my therapist, she didn't coddle me. She called me out, gently. You didn't just lose a relationship, she said in one session. You lost your trust, your sense of safety, your voice. Let's start getting those back. And damn, she was right. I'd spent so long playing chill girlfriend, keeping the peace, letting things slide, brushing off red flags like they were personality quirks. It felt easier to be agreeable than confrontational. But that wasn't strength, that was fear in a pretty disguise. So I started pushing back, at work, in life, even in small ways. I'd say no more often. I'd ask for what I needed without apologizing. I stopped ghosting my own emotions, just to make other people comfortable. It felt weird at first, like trying on a new skin, but slowly, I grew into it. We'll notice the change too. One night, after a dinner where I shut down some guy's casual sexism at the bar without blinking, he looked at me and smiled. You've changed, he said. Bad way or good way? Bad for assholes. Good for you. He was right. We started traveling again. Little weekend trips, just us. The road, bad playlists, and gas station snacks. We'd talk about life, about work, about everything and nothing. And once, late at night in a tiny motel in Arizona, I asked him if he ever regretted anything. He thought for a moment, then said, I regret not seeing it sooner. Seeing what? How wrong they were for us. I nodded. Yeah, me too. Then I asked him, do you ever think about the fact that we ended up exactly where Jason wanted us to? He laughed. Ironic, isn't it? It feels like we're living out some twisted prophecy. He kissed my forehead. Except it's real now. And it was... But then things took another turn. A few weeks after that trip, I got a call from one of my old coworkers. She sounded weird, hesitant. "Hey, Naomi. I wasn't sure if I should say anything, but have you seen Jason's LinkedIn?" My stomach dropped. "Why?" She paused. "He's working at your old startup's competitor, the one that tried to buy your team last year." "What?" I hung up, pulled up his profile, and there it was, Jason Carter, product strategy lead at Layer 8, the exact company that once tried to poach me before the merger. The audacity. This was the same guy who once told me that Layer 8 was a soulless data vampire with VC money and no ethics. And now he was working for them. I scrolled further. His bio literally used keywords from my old pitch deck, like verbatim. He was recycling my ideas, the ones we brainstormed back when we thought we were building something together, the ones I wrote and saved in a shared Google Drive before everything went to hell. And now he was packaging them like they were his own. UTF. At first, I was just stunned. Then I got mad. Like actually mad, like not heartbreak mad, not betrayal mad. Righteous, boiling, ice-sharp corporate revenge mad. So I did what any reasonable woman would do. I logged into that old shared drive. He probably thought I forgot about it, or that he had changed permissions, but turns out one folder was still visible, inside. A doc called Pitch Draft Naomi V1, 3, with timestamps, with authorship tags, with me as the owner. Bingo. I exported every file with a time-stamped log. Then I contacted my friend from college. She's an IP attorney now. I didn't want to sue him. Not yet. I just wanted to know if I had a case. Spoiler, I did. Turns out, even if you're not in a formal startup structure, idea ownership and time-stamped drafts can matter, especially when you can prove the other party benefited financially from your material without consent. We didn't go nuclear. Not immediately. My friend sent a cease and desist letter. Quiet, official, and very much enough to make someone squirm. Within a week, Jason had scrubbed the strategy lead role from his profile and updated his job to consultant. Consultant of what lies and regrets. I didn't gloat. Okay, maybe just a will. I told you those files would come in handy. I said. He smirked. You're terrifying in the best way. I shrugged. Karma's just Google Docs with metadata. We high-fived. After that, Jason went silent again. No texts, no emails, no creepy packages. Good. I didn't want a final word. I didn't want closure from him anymore. You don't need closure from people who never gave you honesty in the first place. That fall, I gave a talk at a Women in Tech panel about recovering from professional betrayal. I didn't name names. I didn't spill tea. But I did share what I learned, that heartbreak and ambition don't cancel each other out. That you can burn down a version of your life and still build again. Stronger. Smarter. I told the audience, there's power in walking away, but there's freedom in never needing to look back. And they clapped. And I felt something settle in my chest, a quiet pride. Not loud, not vengeful, just solid, like I'd finally taken all the broken glass and made something worth keeping. These days, I still think about that version of me, the girl in the bridal suite, the one with the crooked eyeliner and the unanswered texts and the shaky hands reading a goodbye letter written like a damn TED Talk. I want to tell her you're going to be okay. Actually, better than okay. You're going to be the kind of woman people don't mess with twice. And the best part, you're going to do it in your own damn way. By winter, everything felt still. Not in a sad way. In a finally taking a breath kind of way. My apartment was no longer haunted. No ghost of Jason's hoodie on the couch. No little emotional landmines in drawers or folders or playlists. Just peace. Will and I were still together, stronger than ever. We cooked dinner more. We started leaving toothbrushes at each other's places without even talking about it. There were no grand declarations, just quiet choices, the kind that meant something. It felt safe. And I'd forgotten what that felt like. One night, we were lying on the floor, wine glasses half full, watching some ridiculous baking show on mute with subtitles. Will looked at me and said, "So, do you ever think we'll get married?" I choked on my wine. "What?" He laughed. "I'm not asking yet, just wondering." I took a breath. It's weird how 4 words can unearth so much. I looked at him, this man who'd sat with me in my grief, played games with me when I didn't want to talk, made me pancakes when I couldn't sleep, and I realized I wasn't afraid of marriage. I was afraid of getting blindsided again. But Will wasn't Jason, and I wasn't the same girl who said yes in a kitchen over Netflix and takeout. I set my glass down. I think, maybe, yeah, I said eventually. He nodded. No pressure, no timeline, just understanding. It should have ended there. It should have stayed quiet and healthy and normal, but life has a way of throwing in one final, let's just have asterisk, asterisk, asterisk with them twist. I was at work, wrapping up a dev sprint, when I got a Slack ping from one of our junior engineers. "Hey, Naomi, random, but do you know a Jason Carter?" My chest tightened instantly. "Why?" "He applied to be a contractor through our vendor list. He listed you as a reference." I blinked. Out loud, I said, "What?" I jumped into our HR platform and pulled up the vendor submissions. And sure enough, there was Jason. A PDF resume with some padded buzzword nonsense and my name, email, an old title listed right there under professional references. No call, no text, no heads up, no permission. Just insert yourself back into my life via HR portal energy. Like he thought I'd just play along. I felt something click inside me. Not heartbreak, not betrayal. Pure, unfiltered rage. I messaged the engineer back. "Do not approve him. I do not consent to being listed as a reference. Please forward this to legal and remove my info immediately." Then I emailed HR myself, CC'd our compliance lead, and attached screenshots. I made it crystal clear I had not spoken to this man in nearly a year. I did not endorse him. I did not want my name associated with any submission he made. They handled it fast, took his name off the list, sent him a formal rejection notice with an internal flag for fraudulently listing a reference. The best part, someone accidentally replied all to the rejection thread, and I saw Jason's follow-up. "Naomi must be confused. We worked together extensively. I'm sure this is just a misunderstanding." Oh my God. Imagine being so divorced from reality that you think I am the one confused. I laughed. Then I screen capped everything and sent it to Will with the caption, "He tried it. Again. This man has no shame." Will responded. "Next time he applies to something, we should start charging him emotional labor fees. Honestly, not a bad idea." I thought that was the end, but nope. A few days later, I got an email, a personal one, from Jason, subject line, just one conversation. "Body. Naomi, I know I've done damage. I know I don't deserve anything from you. But please, I'm trying to fix things. I'm trying to be better. I just want a chance to explain why I did what I did. I can't keep living with this weight." If you don't respond, I'll understand. But I hope you do. Jason. I stared at it for a long time, and here's the thing. Part of me wanted to reply, not because I missed him, not because I believed him, but because I wanted to rip into him. I wanted to type a novel of everything he deserved to hear. I wanted to scorch the earth with words. But I didn't. Because I'd already burned all that down. I'd already screamed in my head, cried into pillows, shredded that part of my heart, and rebuilt it from scratch. I didn't owe him a single syllable. So I marked the email as spam. That night, Will noticed I was quiet. "You okay?" he asked. Yeah, I said, he emailed me. His jaw tightened. Do I need to punch anything? I laughed. For real? No, I'm okay. I didn't respond. He nodded. Good. We didn't talk about it after that. We didn't need to. It wasn't our story anymore. It was just something I stepped over on the sidewalk without even looking down. Later that week, my therapist asked me what forgiveness meant to me. I paused for a long time. Then I said, it's when I don't feel the need to prove how much they hurt me anymore. She smiled. And I realized I was finally there. That weekend, Will and I drove out to this quiet little Airbnb in the mountains. No cell service, just stars and tea and awkward card games. We cooked, we talked, we slept in. We did absolutely nothing. And it felt so good, like reclaiming all the quiet moments that were stolen from me. No drama, no second guessing, no wondering if I'd missed something obvious. Just stillness. And warmth. And laughter that didn't feel like a defense mechanism. On the last night, as we sat wrapped in blankets, watching the fire pit flicker, Will looked over and said, You ever think about how weird this all is? I raised an eyebrow. Which part? All of it. How we got here. How it started. How wrong it all went just to somehow feel this right. I nodded. Yeah, it's like we were roadkill, and now we're interior designers for our new emotional apartment. He snorted. What? Sorry, I think the wine's kicking in. He laughed, then got quiet. Not awkward quiet, just thoughtful. Then he said, If none of that had happened, do you think we'd be here? I thought about it. Probably not. I said, But I don't think about that anymore. He looked at me. I think about what I'd have missed if we weren't. He smiled. You're getting poetic on me. I contain multitudes. He leaned in, kissed my temple, and in that moment I knew. This was mine. Not what was stolen, not what was lost. But what I found when I finally stopped searching for the person I used to be before the wreckage. People always talk about closure, like it's something someone else can give you. But it's not. Closure isn't an email or an apology or a box of old wedding crap delivered to your office like a sick joke. Closure is knowing you could have let that pain define you, but you didn't. It's walking into your own life, fully present, not haunted. It's waking up next to someone who didn't just patch your wounds, but helped you build armor. And yeah, that's worth everything.